There comes a moment in your life when you realize that confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's not reserved for the lucky, the talented, or the chosen. Confidence is a decision, a muscle, a state you create in the moment you decide to show up bigger than your fears. Most people wait. They wait for permission, for validation, for the perfect moment. But confidence doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who act. It comes to the ones who stand up, breathe deeply, shift their body, and declare, I am in control of my life. This video is not about hype. It's about the psychology of certainty, the mindset that world-class performers use to push through doubt, uncertainty, and insecurity. And once you understand how confidence works, you'll realize something powerful. The only limit to your confidence is the limit you've accepted. Today, I'm going to show you how to break that limit forever and build a level of confidence so strong, so unshakable, so unstoppable that nothing and no one can take it from you. Confidence doesn't start in your mind. It starts in your body. Before a single thought enters your head, your physiology determines how you feel, how you think, and how you show up in the world. This is why two people can face the exact situation and have completely different reactions. One collapses, the other rises. The difference isn't luck. It's state. Your emotional state is the foundation of your confidence, and the fastest way to change your state is to change your physiology. Think about it. When you're confident, your body already knows what to do. Your chest opens, your shoulders rise, your breathing deepens, and your movements become decisive. But when you lack confidence, the body shrinks, the breath becomes shallow, the head tilts down, and your entire physiology sends a message of fear, hesitation, and uncertainty. Most people let this happen unconsciously. They let their body dictate their destiny. But the truth is, you can change this instantly. Just like an athlete who gets into peak state before the big moment. You can prime your body to feel powerful, strong, and ready. This isn't theory. This is neurology. Your nervous system responds to movement before it responds to thought. If you change your posture, your breathing, and your energy, your brain releases different chemicals, your emotions shift, and suddenly the world looks different. Stand tall, breathe deeper. Move with intensity, and your mind starts generating thoughts that match your new physical state. That's why Tony Robbins says emotion is created by motion. You can't think your way into confidence when your body is communicating fear. But you can move your way into confidence and watch your thoughts transform. Imagine for a moment that you are about to walk into a room where everything you want is. On the other side, the opportunity, the connection, the challenge, the breakthrough. If your body is small, your energy low, your breath weak, you'll hesitate. You'll shrink, you'll stop before you even start. But if your body is strong, your breath deep, your energy elevated, you step forward with certainty. You don't wait for confidence, you bring it. The truth is, confidence is not an emotion you hope for, it's a state you create. Before you make an important phone call, before you step on stage, before you walk into an interview, before you make a decision that could change your life, shift your physiology first. Jump, stretch, breathe powerfully, shake off the tension, lift your chest, set your posture, and move your body like the most confident version of yourself. Do it even if you don't feel it yet, especially if you don't feel it yet. Because once your physiology shifts, your psychology follows. This is your power. Your body is the ignition switch for confidence. If you master your state, you control your emotions. If you control your emotions, you control your decisions. And if you control your decisions, you control your destiny. Confidence isn't out there. It's already inside you, waiting for you to activate it by commanding your body to lead the way. Every breakthrough in life begins with the courage to challenge the story you've been telling yourself. Confidence isn't destroyed by failure or rejection. It's destroyed by the beliefs you create about those experiences. Somewhere in your life, you adopted a story, maybe from your childhood, maybe from society, maybe from a moment of pain that told you you weren't enough, weren't capable, weren't worthy. And that story became a filter. It shaped how you see yourself, what you attempt, and what you avoid. But here's the truth. Beliefs are nothing more than repeated thoughts you've accepted as facts. They are not reality. They are not destiny. They can be rewritten in an instant. Most people live inside a mental prison that they themselves have built. They tell themselves, I can't do that. I'm not talented enough. I'm not confident. That's just the way I am. But those are not facts. Those are decisions. Decisions made long ago based on old information, old fears, and old emotions. The problem isn't that life has held you back. It's that you have held onto a belief that no longer serves you. Confidence becomes unstoppable when you stop questioning your worth and start questioning the beliefs that limit you. The first step is awareness. You must recognize the belief that has been shaping your actions. Ask yourself, what is the story I tell myself about who I am and what I can or cannot do? Maybe you think you're too shy, too late, too broken, too inexperienced. Maybe you think your past defines your future. But the moment you expose these beliefs to the light, their power begins to dissolve. You can't defeat an enemy you refuse to face, and you can't rewrite a story you pretend doesn't exist. The second step is truth. Look at your limiting belief and ask, is this absolutely true? Is there real evidence? Or is this just a fear I've repeated? You will quickly realize that most limiting beliefs fall apart when challenged. They are built on assumptions, not facts. They are fueled by emotion, not truth. And once you see that clearly, you gain the power to replace them. The third step is identity. True change happens when you choose a new identity, not someday, not gradually, but right now. If you want unstoppable confidence, you must adopt the identity of someone who is capable, resourceful, and resilient. Your brain works hard to prove your identity right. If you believe you are powerful, your mind starts looking for proof. If you believe you are confident, your actions follow. This is why rewriting your story isn't optional, it's essential. Finally, take the belief you want and strengthen it with action. Every time you act in alignment with your new identity, stack evidence that reinforces your confidence. Soon, the old story loses its grip, and the new one becomes automatic. You stop living from fear and start living from power. You are not defined by your past, your mistakes, or your fears. You're defined by the story you choose to believe right now. Rewrite that story, and you rewrite your entire future. Confidence doesn't come from massive achievements. It comes from consistent wins stacked on top of each other day after day. Most people think they need one huge breakthrough to finally feel confident, but the human mind doesn't work that way. Your brain builds confidence the same way it builds muscle. Through repetition, through proof, through small victories that accumulate into unstoppable momentum. Momentum is the hidden force behind every confident person you've ever met. They didn't wake up believing in themselves. They acted, they tried, they made progress, and that progress created certainty. The problem is that many people wait for motivation before taking action. But motivation is unreliable. It fades. It fluctuates. It disappears when you need it most. What you need instead is momentum. A self-sustaining loop where action creates progress. Progress creates confidence, and confidence fuels more action. This is the psychology of momentum. And once you understand it, you'll never sit around waiting for inspiration again. You'll start creating your own energy, your own drive, and your own belief in yourself through the power of consistent wins. Think of confidence as a bank account. Every action you take is a deposit. Every small win, every completed task, every promise kept to yourself adds value. And just like money, confidence grows with compound interest. The more you stack small wins, the faster you build an identity of someone who follows through, someone who grows, someone who succeeds. But when you break your promises, procrastinate, or avoid the work, you withdraw from that account. You start doubting yourself, questioning your abilities, and losing trust in your own word. The key to unstoppable confidence is to keep depositing, not occasionally, but daily. Your wins don't need to be dramatic. They just need to be consistent. Wake up on time. Make your bed. Finish that task you've been avoiding. Go for the workout. Speak up in the meeting. Deliver that message. Take the step you fear. Every single one of these actions is a brick laid in the foundation of your confidence. When you stack them day after day, you build something unshakable. And as you accumulate wins, something extraordinary happens. Your mind starts expecting success. You begin to trust yourself. You start seeing yourself differently. You act with more certainty, more intention, more courage. Momentum also transforms the way you deal with fear. When you're stagnant, fear grows. When you're moving, fear shrinks. Action disrupts hesitation. Movement destroys doubt. When you are in motion, your brain doesn't have time to sink into insecurity. It's too busy creating progress. This is why even the smallest action can shift your entire emotional state. You don't need to solve everything. You just need to move. One step, one win, one decision that moves you forward. When you stack your wins, You no longer chase confidence, you generate it. And once momentum is on your side, your progress becomes inevitable. Confidence becomes your natural state. And your life begins to change, not because you waited for the perfect moment, but because you created daily moments that made you unstoppable. Confidence isn't something you practice once and expect to master forever. It's something you condition daily. Just like your physical body weakens without movement, your mental strength fades without consistent training. Every day, your mind is being shaped, either by your intentions or by your environment. And if you're not consciously conditioning your mind, the world will condition it for you. That's why the most confident people on the planet have rituals. Not habits, rituals. Deliberate, powerful actions they repeat every single day to align their identity with who they want to become. Your identity is not fixed. It's shaped by what you do consistently. When you repeat a behavior enough times, your brain starts to believe this is who I am. If you want unstoppable confidence, you must build rituals that reinforce strength, clarity, gratitude, resilience, and certainty. These rituals aren't about hype. They're about rewiring your nervous system. They're about taking control of your mental environment before the world overwhelms it with noise, stress, and doubt. The first ritual is priming your emotional state. You must begin your day with intention, not reaction. If the moment you wake up, you grab your phone, scroll through other people's lives, and flood your brain with stress, you're conditioning insecurity. Instead, take the first few minutes of your day to breathe deeply, move your body, and focus your mind. When you control your state in the morning, you carry confidence throughout the day. You're no longer influenced by circumstances. You influence them. The second ritual is gratitude and focus. Confidence doesn't grow in a mind full of fear and scarcity. It grows in a mind that recognizes abundance and progress. Spend a few minutes each day focusing on what you're grateful for, what you've achieved, and what you're committed to. Gratitude shifts your emotional chemistry. It reduces cortisol, boosts your energy, and grounds you in a state of certainty. And when you combine gratitude with focus, when you declare your top outcomes for the day, you give your mind a direction. A mind with direction becomes confident because it knows what it's moving toward. The third ritual is personal growth. Feed your mind every day with something that elevates you, a book, a podcast, a powerful thought, a lesson, a question that challenges your limits. Growth changes your identity. When you learn something new, you expand who you believe you are. You stop identifying with your past and start stepping into your potential. This daily investment compounds, and over time, you become someone who believes deeply in their own capability. The fourth ritual is keeping promises to yourself. Confidence comes from self-trust. When you say you'll do something and you do it, you're training your mind to believe you are reliable, consistent, and powerful. Every promise kept strengthens your identity. Every promise broken weakens it. Your rituals are not tasks. They are the blueprint of your identity. When you master them, you don't just feel confident temporarily. You become the kind of person who naturally radiates confidence. Daily conditioning shapes who you are, and who you are determines how far you go. Confidence is not built through thinking, hoping, or preparing endlessly. It's built through action. And not perfect action, not flawless action, but massive, imperfect action. Taken despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite the possibility of failure. Most people wait until they feel confident before they move. But confidence doesn't come before action, it comes from action. Every time you step into discomfort, every time you take a risk, every time you push forward without having all the answers, you're training your nervous system to become stronger, braver, and more certain. Courage is the birthplace of confidence. You don't eliminate fear first. You walk into it until it loses its power over you. Perfection is the enemy of progress. It paralyzes people. It convinces them they need more time, more preparation, more validation. But the truth is, perfection is just fear dressed up as logic. It's a strategy your mind uses to keep you safe, small, and stuck. The moment you demand perfection before action, you guarantee you'll never start. But when you embrace messy action, when you allow yourself to try, fail, adjust, grow, you unlock a level of confidence that no amount of thinking could ever create. Action creates evidence. Evidence rewires belief. And belief shapes identity. Every successful person you admire built their confidence by doing things they weren't ready for. They made mistakes. They fell. They learned on the move. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for certainty. They acted, and through that action, they discovered their strength. The difference between someone who is confident and someone who's insecure is simple. One acts in spite of fear. The other waits for fear to disappear. But fear never disappears. It only shrinks when you move toward it. Taking massive action also interrupts the patterns of hesitation that keep you stuck. When you move quickly, you don't give your mind time to invent excuses or doubts. You override the fear with momentum. And the more action you take, the more your brain starts to associate movement with empowerment. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to believe that you can handle whatever comes your way. You stop fearing failure because you've proven you can recover from it. You stop doubting your abilities because you've proven you can learn. You stop worrying about judgment because you're too busy progressing. And here's the secret: imperfect action often leads to perfect opportunities. Doors open when you move. People notice when you take initiative. Your environment responds when you take bold steps. But none of this happens if you stay frozen, waiting for the right moment. The right moment is created by action, not by waiting. Massive. Imperfect action builds confidence because it reveals your true power. It shows you that you are far more capable, adaptable, and resilient than you ever believed. Courage expands your identity. It transforms uncertainty into clarity and fear into fuel. And with each step, each risk, each leap, you become the kind of person who doesn't just feel confident. You are confident. Unstoppable confidence is not a gift, it's a result. And that result is earned every time you choose action over fear. Confidence isn't something you chase, it's something you create moment by moment. Through the choices you make and the actions you take. When you master your state, rewrite your limiting beliefs, stack your daily wins, condition your mind, and step boldly into imperfect action, you begin to realize something powerful. Confidence was never outside of you. It was never in the approval of others, the outcome of a situation, or the illusion of perfection. It has always been within you, waiting to be activated. Your life transforms the moment you stop negotiating with your fears and start demanding more from yourself. Confidence grows when you decide to show up, not as the version shaped by your past, but as the version shaped by your potential. And every single day gives you a new opportunity to build that version. Every day gives you a chance to stand taller, speak louder, move faster, and live more intentionally. You don't need to be fearless to be confident. You need to be willing. Willing to act. Willing to learn. Willing to fail forward. Willing to rise again and again until rising becomes your nature. That willingness becomes momentum. That momentum becomes identity, and that identity becomes unstoppable confidence. Remember this. You are not waiting for confidence. Confidence is waiting for you. The moment you decide to step in, everything changes. You become the leader of your life, the creator of your destiny, and the force that nothing can stop.